right, greetings to the best family in YouTube. Well, in our opinion at least. That is our EDC family. That's you guys. I'm your host, Prophet, okay? And with me as always is the Professor. And we thank you so much for joining us for yet another EDC video. Now, today we have a fun little cider here, if you will, on the table. This little guy here is the Artisan Cutlery Bombardier, or Bombardier, depending on how you like to pronounce it. That's the knife that we have on the table today. A quick teachable moment for all you folks. Bombardier means something a bit different depending on where you hail from on this bright blue marble we call Earth. If you are where we are, here in the United States, what it means is you're a member of a crew in the U.S. Air Force. Your responsibilities are to sight and then release payloads, or bombs, giving them the name Bombardier. Now, if you hail from Canada, or our brothers and sisters over the pond in Great Britain, the name usually stands for a non-commissioned officer in certain artillery regiments, right? So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that it's equivalent to maybe a corporal here in the States. I absolutely could be wrong on that as usual. If we have someone in the comments that would like to enlighten us, I usually like to check the comments for folks because you normally are a lot smarter than us. And I thank you for that. So please drop that payload of information in the comments and correct me if I'm wrong. And yes, I get it, folks. I can't help myself with these puns. It's just the way that I am made. Okay. Well, as you all know, for those of you who don't like to get all of the nitty-gritty history that we like to give you on our channel, on the maker, the designer, etc., you may take what we're now calling, and you've probably seen it in our last video, our winter blade video, but we're now calling it officially our Professor's Portal. Our Professor's Portal. So you can take the Professor's Portal to our actual Carrier Berry review to see if this knife can blow away the competition or if it misses the mark and ends up making a hole in the earth big enough for our coffin to fit in it. You will see the timestamp somewhere in the portal on the screen, and that's where you can jump to and pass up the action. And don't worry, you don't have to write it down. Professor will add little reminders throughout the video. He normally likes to do that. Okay, now with all of that out of the way, let's see if we have any intelligence on this explosive little guy. And there we are, opening her for the first time. I'll give you some views of all the angles, and angles there are aplenty. Okay, so we learned what Bombardier meant in our intro. And for those of you who have stuck around for some knowledge, because you know, knowledge is king, right? And so with that being said, what we're gonna start having in our segments is a crown over a little brain, letting you know that we're in the knowledge part of our segments. So if you see a little crown with the brain somewhere here spinning or stuck or idle, I don't know how he's gonna do it, but just know that that is what we are doing to let you know what segment that we are in. So with all of that out of the way again, we'll be helping you with where we are in the video with what we just talked about. This is our first segment. If you don't use Professor's Portal, again, we're calling this our Knowledge is King segment. Okay, who is Artisan Cutlery? So their logo is this little guy right here on the knife, okay? So Artisan Company, they are a US-based company, kind of, with their manufacturing located in China, in the Yangjiang province, to be specific. They were founded in 2018. Their idea was to bring top-of-the-line type of knives and other tools through Chinese manufacturing, but with the United States base of operations. Their goals were to be the best that they can be, or are to be the best that they can be. Now, stopping the stereotype back then in 2018, that great knives and tools could not be made in China for US collectors and EDC folk alike. They worked with a variety of makers when they started, helping to produce some of your favorite knives from your favorite designers. And they brought to life a new mix of art, creativity, and high quality items for all types of ranges of price. They teamed up with veterans in the design community. They teamed up with veterans in the knife world. They teamed up with veterans basically at every step of the way, okay? They also have their own line of products and tools that don't utilize other people. And these have everyone in mind, from budget to top quality, all at really good price points. So how do they do it? How do they back all this up? Well, because their factory or their facility is in Yangjiang, China, and their factory has been around since 2004. So during that time, they've had all the best equipment you'd expect from basically CNC machines, wire EDM, and even laser engravers. This brings their designs to life. The manufacturing facility had worked with many, many different cutlery companies and designer over the years, so they were able to get a handful of work and a lot of experience. So when they started Artisan Cutlery in 2018, they did a lot of really unique stuff. And they had a lot of wonderful designers on there. But one of the things that they were noticing were there was a lot of folks that were looking more for a budget line. So what did they do? How did they combat this? Well, in 2019, they brought more of a budget-focused brand to us in their CJRB brand. This brought affordable pricing with their still focus on quality. All of their knives and tools are made in the same facility, whether they're from CJRB or from Artisan Cutlery. So whether it's micarta, G10, super high quality knife steel, Damascus, or other exotic materials, they don't really shy away from anything, and it's all done under one roof. So is that it? No. In 2020, Artisan Cutlery formulated and now manufactures their own steel. Yeah, dead serious. It is called AR-RPM9. That's kind of a mouthful. AR-RPM9 is a powder metallurgy steel. So you're getting a lot of those really great properties that you're getting with powder metallurgy. This particular version has high stainless properties. It has really good toughness, and it has excellent hardness. But that means it isn't fun to sharpen, right? Actually, you'd be wrong. So the steel is ideal for EDC in a lot of ways, because not only do you get that hardness, but it can be sharpened to a razor edge pretty easily. But hold on, Prophet. So if we can sharpen that, and this knife is not made of that steel, so forgive me, but we're talking about knowledge, right? So are we going to have issues with the ease of sharpening? Because normally you can't really have your cake and eat it too. Well, in this case, you kind of can, because although you can bring it to that razor edge that we were talking about it pretty quickly, it actually is not that terrible to lose its edge, which is kind of a mind boggler, right? So we normally only see that in super high production steels, but you get that with some powdered metallurgy. Now, don't take our word for it. You can actually go right over, after this video, of course, to our channel's superhuman metallurgist. By the way, Dr. Laren Thomas doesn't know that we talk about him so much on this channel. We're tiny little bugs in his field of view, I'm sure, but we have a lot of respect for him. And he's one of the tools that I've used to learn more and more about knife steels as this habit has grown. Did I say habit? I didn't mean that. I mean this frenzy of collection? No, I didn't mean that either. You know what? I'm sure Professor will throw a word somewhere up on the screen, because I'm not really sure where to take it. So how do you find out more about that steel or any other steel? Well, it's easy. You can head over right now. Just kidding. You can head over to knifesteelnerds.com. We'll link information on Artisan Cutlery and Dr. Laren Thomas and all sorts of other information, as always, in the description. Okay, so normally we would then talk about the designer or maker of this guy, since we talked a lot about the factory and the company. However, this Bombardier is an in-house design by Artisan Cutlery. It is not made by any of your favorite people like They work with Ray Laconico and other wonderful makers. This particular knife is an in-house design. Pretty neat, huh? And they have a lot more of these. So we don't really have that to talk about. So what's next? I guess we move right to the specifications. All right, again, folks, we sure hope you learned something and that we were able to teach you something, anything, without you wanting to move on from the video. So let's talk about them stats, which again, we're gonna do another really neat thing for you. Stats, right? Which is my partner's favorite part, Professor. He loves stats. So from now on, we're gonna call this section Professor's Particulars. So again, you're gonna have an animation, okay? Be a little statistical sheet with a knife in the background. So whenever you get to segment 2, you're gonna know you're there by the spinning icon somewhere here on the screen, and that will stay up for you. That way you'll always know where you are in our videos. Okay, so here we go. Let's strap in. Let's talk a little bit about our particular model here, and why do I say that? Doing my research on this little guy, I noticed that the Artisan Cutlery Bombardier flipper knife can be different depending on the handle, including how long or short the blade is, which I thought was super interesting. Now, they're all gonna have this really wicked design, and it's very, very crazy modified Tonto type blade, as you can see. And that's right, that's a super slicer if I've ever seen one. Now, our model here that we just talked about was purchased with our own money, as is typical on this site. The Artisan Cutlery Bombardier that we're holding has a 3.9 inch S35VN satin modified Tonto blade. Ours has the gold and the blue anodized titanium handles with the inner liner lock. I believe the SKU number on this guy is 1812G-BU02. Not to bore you with all those numbers, here's your little liner lock right here. So what is the Bombardier? It's an aggressive looking knife, that's for sure. It's got kind of almost a predatory aesthetic, right? So the 3.9 inches or just under of S35 stainless is really awesome. We talked about how aggressive it's looking. They've also milled out a lot of the titanium to give it a more of a reduced weight, and they give it a really amazing ceramic bearing action. So it really kicks out really nice. So not only do you get a wicked design, you get a really cool action. So, I mean, you can hear that snappy detent from anywhere actually. So on the screen, you're gonna have the blade length, which again, is just under 3.9 inches. Our cutting edge of the knife is gonna be about 3.5 inches, okay? Our closed length of the knife is going to be just over 5 inches. The overall length, while opened, is going to be just under 9 inches. Again, we talked about the blade steel. It is stamped on the knife as S35VN. Pretty neat. So you can actually see it right here on the knife. I don't know if we can get a better shot of that. You know, it's difficult. We talked again about the modified Tonto blade. The hardness comes in at about between 58 and 60 HRC. And it's got the stainless steel liner lock that we talked about. And again, pivot assembly on this is ceramic bearings. We do have a tip up right or left hand carry, I believe. No, we do not, forgive me. We just have the right hand. So we have the tip up right hand carry on that bad boy. So what does it weigh? It comes in at about 5 ounces or just over, made in China, as we spoke about. And another code that I found online for this particular one could be the correct UPC code, 193-125-00-4210. Hope all that was super helpful. We love to give you the specifics when we are working with a knife. All right, folks, guess what? It's time for size comparisons, and we have something special here. I actually would normally have 3 knives, but I have 4, and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about here in a second. So we are going to lay the Bombardier out. Let's grab our first knife. This here is another knife, as you can see by the lovely icon here. It's another Artisan Cutlery knife. Now this knife, if you are not new to the knife world, you'll notice that it looks pretty familiar to a designer named Ray Laconico. And that's because this is definitely one of Ray's designs. This is a beautiful knife, and it has a really awesome front flipper action. super snappy. This one does come in Damasteel with carbon fiber on the show side, and on the clip side you have the titanium with a lot of cross milling. I don't know if the camera is pulling that up, but it's beautiful. And let's kind of clean this one up a little bit. Holy cow. Let's just show you some Damasteel that looks like it's got fingerprints all over it. Wonderful knife. So while we're doing this and I'm kind of going through the side-by-sides with you, I'd also like to talk a little bit about our giveaway. Our giveaway will be going on while this video is airing. How it works, if you haven't read the instructions, one of the things that we are doing is that when you subscribe, you get a lovely point. When you like a video, you get another point. When you make a useful or kind comment in our comment section after you subscribe, you get 2 entries. You get another point or entry, and forgive me if I'm mixing them up. Professor talks about entries, I talk about points. At the end, they're all just basically worth 1 rotation on the wheel of luck. Let's go with wheel of luck, right? We're going to be utilizing an online decider. Let's take a look at the next knife here. This little guy here is a Spyderco PM2 with a really cool Tanto blade as well. Wanted to get these guys side by side. As you can see, if you are familiar with the PM2, the Bombardier is a little bit longer for sure. It's going to be a little bit heavier, especially with this configuration with the G10 black on the Spyderco. Obviously the lock difference, you got the compression lock on the Spyderco and the inner liner lock here on the lovely Bombardier. Get you some back shots of these. I do have the pocket clip removed from the Spyderco right now because it was going in a belt sheath, so forgive me, I can't show you what that looks like right now, but we're going to get you all of the other angles here. So that is what those two look like closed next to each other. I guess we'll kind of make it a little bit more fair here. There we go. So what I was trying to say and what I wasn't able to get out, we're going to be using an online computer web page to help us. That way, you know, if somebody we know wins, it's not really going to be in our control. We're going to actually do that live on our next video after the Bombardier. So when you see us doing this TRM Atom, which is going to be the next knife video, when you see this up, TRM Atom by Carrier Barry, I believe this will be number 10 or 11, you'll know then that we are doing our giveaway of that video. So make sure you, even if you don't tune in live or watch it when it first comes out, you will have 30 days to claim your knife. So again, we're going to feed however many times somebody gets a registered point or a registered number, or however you want to call it. Whenever somebody gets a ticket number, let's say you liked 5 videos, you subscribe, there's 6 points right there. Then let's say, I don't know, you leave 2 comments on 2 videos, though it's going to be +2 both times. That's going to give you 10 entries or 10 points to get loaded into this little computer program. Once we have everyone loaded in there, we're going to hit the little spin button. The first winner wins the flashlight. The second winner will win the knife. And you're going to see rules on our winter blade video. Then you'll also see more rules at the end of this video. So Professor will absolutely put that in the end of this video as well, just to give you a refresher, because Lord knows I am having a heck of a time getting anything out for you guys. Okay, so let's take a look at this next one. I actually had this guy on the channel during our Memorial Day episode with my dad. The reason I'm putting it back on the channel and showing it with the Bombardier is, one, they're both just wildly crazy, right? They're big old knives, they're wildly crazy, cool designs. But one of the things that I really didn't show off last time with this dub here, this custom dub from Phantom Steelworks, I believe that's correct. Forgive me if I'm wrong. It's Chris Martin, Phantom Steelworks, and this is a beautiful knife, and it has a lot of wonderful Timascus in it, but unfortunately I was not able to show that off because Timascus gets really gross with touching it and moving it around, so you really didn't get a very good view of this guy. So if anything, I guess we're just going to show off this amazing Timascus design here. And the pocket clip is also full Timascus. The back portion of the knife is flamed titanium. The the clip side is not Damascus. In fact, you can actually see how thick the Damascus is compared to the actual titanium. So the knife is kind of offset, if you will. But yeah, so that's what these big guys look like next to each other. These crazy pushers of all geometric patterns, right? However you want to do it. So that's kind of what those look like together. And you can see this guy almost fits entirely in the dub, right? So I wanted to show you that. And another one of Chris's really neat knives is another unique knife. So we wanted to show this one as well. So this knife here is the Delirium by Phantom Steelworks. Look at that. This is actually, the Delirium also comes with Chad Nichols' Nightmare Damascus. Really interesting Damascus there, isn't it? Just beautiful. I absolutely love it. So you're kind of seeing that this is a large knife for large guys like me. You know, fits in my hand super nicely. And this does too, right? Isn't that interesting? Sometimes knives can be an optical illusion. This can look so much bigger than this guy. And you know what? Since I have it on the table, we might as well actually just throw the TRM Atom up there. Look at that. Everybody knows the TRM Atom in the knife world, so let's kind of show you what these look like. Now, the Atom is known for its super thin blade stock. And again, we'll have a full video on this guy next week. So you've got super thin blade stock. You can see the absolute difference there is just monstrous. The Atom comes down to almost a scary thin edge, but this is no slouch. It comes down to an edge like you wouldn't believe, especially at the point here. Or at the tip, point, tip. Tell me in the comments if you think some of the things I say is a little bit strange. We'd love to hear from you. All right, so with that being said, we've done some size comparisons. I think everybody's happy with that. I managed to absolutely butcher my way through explaining more of the giveaway. And I want it to be organic. So guess what? We're not going to reshoot. We are going to let that go, ladies and gentlemen. So what are we going to do now? I guess now is going to be the really nice time to, I don't know, welcome back the EDC family that have used Professor's Portal. You guys, welcome back. You skipped the learning section. That's okay. You skipped the basic area here where we're comparing knives. Guess what? That's okay. Because you have time and your time is money and you guys are valued. Guess what? For everyone that watched, thank you. You're as big a nerds as I am, or you had some extra time. And either way, thank you so much. We appreciate all of you, whether you give our channel 5 minutes or you give our channel 40 minutes. We absolutely love you. God bless you. That's enough of my jabber. All right, let's get into the game that you came for, right? Or if you just fell upon us due to the algorithm, which we've been praying for, right? And God bless you for coming and God bless you for sticking around. We will review the positives and negatives of this very knife. So our video labeled 001 will explain how the game works for those of you that are new. We always start with the positives. If there are 4 positives, we stop the video and we move on to the negatives. If there are 4 negatives, we are going to have a tiebreaker, right? So the positives are denoted as pockets with the words need stitched into them. The negatives are denoted and represented by nails, as in the proverbial nails in the coffin. Because on this channel, if a knife or an item that we review doesn't become very strongly needed or we can't recommend it, guess what? We're going to bury it in the backyard with these little toy coffins that we have here. Yeah, that's what we do. So, oh shoot, and there I go rambling on, and there was the first noise. That noise, and which I'm sure you're seeing on the screen, which means I'm getting carried away, is our very first need. Our very first need of this little guy is the build quality. We talked a little bit about the skeletonized titanium to reduce weight. What we really didn't talk about is they have added cross-hatching in certain parts of this, chamfering in certain parts. As absolutely geometrically challenged as this looks, or maybe over geometric this looks, it actually is super comfortable. There is no blade play on this knife. There is a lot of CNC focus on lots of areas of the knife. Also, I mean, even the blade has lots of focus, as you can see. We have a fuller, we have a cutout. It's really, the build quality is definitely something that we needed to talk about. The knife has got excellent build quality. It is a little tank, full back spacer here. It's a tank. It's fantastic. The build quality, it's definitely in your hand when it's there. So the materials, again, this is, as you just heard, our second pocket or our second need. So the materials are very well done. You have an S35VN blade. This particular one, I didn't check the HRC, but I believe it's going to be true to their spec between 58 and 60, as they state on their website. And you get these premium titanium handles, premium titanium back spacer, titanium clip that, oh, guess what? It works really well. All for about $225 right now? Are you kidding me? That's a pretty good deal. Now, granted, they're usually on sale. That's why you can find them around that $225 number. So I know before that they were around $350, something like that. But you can find them pretty much at most retailers right now, any of your favorite retailers, for about $225 or under. So that's the materials, right? That's got to be number 2. Oh, you heard it again. Number 3 need, ergonomic design. Huh? Prophet, I thought this channel was honest. Guys, we are. There is very little hot spots for my hand in this knife, and I've got a large, fat hand, and you can see that I abuse my hands. You know this. We've commented about it. We don't need to go there. I'm not a hand model. But my goodness, you guys, I wrap my hands around this thing, and it is ergonomic. Despite not looking like it, it is super comfortable in the hand. I'm not going to lie. You got to give it a pocket for that, right? The 4th pocket, yep, there's 4. Oh, he was a little late on that one maybe. Or maybe I'm just imagining things. But another really nice thing that we really like is the detent and the ball bearings that it runs on. This knife deploys, it fires, I guess, and it has an incredible sound, as you can hear. I mean, it goes. I mean, it really does. As you can see, it doesn't have that fall shutty action that you get with a lot of knives, but the detent, it is strong. It is absolute. It is authoritative. I mean, my goodness, this thing is fantastic. What a fun little toy to play. And when you listen to it live, I don't know if this is picking it up. I'm going to put it closer to my chest. I don't know if that picked it up at all, but my goodness, this thing has got an amazing, super nice sound, fantastic detent. Okay, we hit 4. That was, man, that happened pretty quick. So we got to 4 quickly there. So as you can tell, there's some really good qualities on this guy. Are there any negatives? Well, we aren't going to ding it for style because, let's be honest, art is subjective. So were there anything else that we talked about, or is this just going to go right in the pocket? Oh, there it goes. Yeah, that's the first nail noise. A bit late, but there it is, a nail sound. You know, maybe Professor was going for effect, right? Either way, I shouldn't have gotten so confused by this game. I mean, I am a part of it, aren't I? A big part of it, I'd like to think. Or am I? You know what? Doesn't matter. There's the nail. It's been sitting there. Let's talk about the first nail or the first negative. We are going to ding it for balance. So folks, normally you want your knife balance to be somewhere around the pivot. And this one doesn't even come close to that. So we are absolutely creeping out to right around here. And that is a lot of space. I mean, we're talking from the pivot, you're looking at, oh geez, almost a full inch, or 2.5 millimeters there for our brothers and sisters over the pond. Either way, that is a lot of room to have that balance so low. And you actually can feel it. I hate to say it, but you can. Even with all the skeletonizing they did on the handle here, you are still way back here. I don't know if there was a reason for that or if it just is the way that it is, but balance is going to be the first ding on this item. The second, blade shape. Wait, Prophet, didn't you say you liked all this stuff? I said that I liked that they put all the work into it, yes. And I do think that it looks really cool. It looks wicked. It is a really cool looking blade, and they've put a lot of work into it. But yeah, it's sharp. It's really nice steel. Honestly, guys, it's super thick on the spine. It comes down to an edge, and you don't have a lot of room here and to actually get there, right? So although it can be pretty slicey, it's hard actually going through a lot of things. So then your next guess would be, well, Prophet, that's a Tonto, it's for utilities. And yeah, you can get some really nice slices, but you don't have any jimping here to hold on. I know that that might be a little silly, but I'd like to see if you're actually going to say, okay, this isn't a slicer, it's utilitarian. Well, let's put some jimping on that guy. You know, I mean, other than stabbing it or drawing it over something lightly, because you don't want to really dig in and slip your finger off, it isn't super EDC worthy to us with that blade shape. The third nail, the weight to size ratio. So for having, 3.86 inches of blade and coming in just over 5 ounces, it's a heavier knife, especially when you're dealing with all of this cutting out, right? So that's kind of an awkward thing about it. So yeah, it's got a really cool design. It's really awesome looking. It's got an amazing pocket clip, all the hard angles, and then the weight added to it, it kind of makes it feel like a brick when it goes in your pocket, which I'm not really going for that. So when I have something in my pocket, I want it to disappear, if you will. I don't want it to be there. I want it to go away. And unfortunately, when this is in your pocket, at least for me, I know it's there. Whether it's the stoutness, the thickness, or the weight mixed with everything and the hard angles, I always know it's in my pocket. That we had to ding it for. The fourth nail, it is unbelievably hard to care for. So sharpening it is a little bit tricky with all the angles, with everything, because it's almost surprising at what that edge has to go down to at an angle. So sharpening it is a little bit difficult, but you know what? You can get over that, right? It is what it is. Anybody who's been sharpening knives for a long time, they'll get by that. It is what it is. Some knives are like that. Let's move on from that though. One other thing I want to bring out is, do you see all these, and again, it's beautiful, but all these little areas here, 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 and then they even get crazier small. It goes super deep into here. Well, I tried to clean this up for the video, and after just wearing it for a week, it was absolutely caked with dirt. And I tried to take it apart, but do you see all these screws? You've got liner locks in there. It's not the end of the world to take this guy apart, but there is a lot of places for dirt to hide, and it took too much time to clean it. And then I thought even more about the bacteria that you're going to be carrying around with all these lines. It looks awesome, don't get me wrong, but my goodness, at least make them wide enough for a Q-tip to go in, because if you look inside here, it's almost like these two parts go together, right? And that is a very, very difficult thing to clean in there without even scratching the blade. I actually had to run it under hot water, which I don't like doing, because then you're oiling and dealing with the possibility of water getting in some of the screws that you don't want to get to. I'm blowing it out. It just took way too long to maintain. I wasn't happy with that whatsoever. I don't think you would be either. It'd be hard for us not to ding that. So we have 4 pockets. We have 4 nails. What does that mean? Well, that means it's time to have a draw? Is that a draw, Professor? No, it's not a draw, you guys. It's time to find out, will the Bombardier be proudly carried or buried? These episodes lately all seem to be super close, but rightfully so. We really do take these knives out and carry them. I would wonder what kind of money we have invested in knives alone sometimes. Once we get a little bit bigger, we'll even be reviewing more items. So I don't know how our pockets are going to handle it. But that's okay. We enjoy doing this. We'd like doing it for you, and hopefully it will continue to grow with you. So again, please share, like, help us grow. We appreciate it more than you know. And yes, I can rap. we get to 200, I'll write a rap for you guys. Now, I hope that our genuine love for this EDC lifestyle that we all share shines on all of you. We also want you to know that the love of Jesus shines on you as well. We're men of faith, okay? We don't want to be making this all about that all the time, but if you ever do need prayers or have any questions, please let us know. Again, I digress, guys. Okay, the needs again, as you can see on the screen, were build quality, the materials of the knife, the ergonomic design, and the snappy and satisfying detent. The nails were the balance ratio, the blade shape, cool but not too useful, the weight of the knife, and the unbelievable details that make it super hard to care for. Let's get that thumbprint off her. So that's the recap. As usual, unless I forget, here's the drum roll. Oh man, that's a sad sound, folks. That means we're going to be burying this guy. So, but we do owe it to you to tell you what the ultimate decider was. As we get our coffin ready here, get this out. So the closing design was the final nail in our coffin. Not only should this knife have probably been a frame lock, perhaps, I'm not sure why it wasn't, but maybe there was a reason. But even though it isn't, even though that we are dealing with this little guy here, every single person that I've let handle this knife has said the same thing. Closing it is downright ridiculous, ludicrous, whatever Chris word you want. To get your finger in here, it is absolutely dead even, if not probably favoring this side. And so you really have to dig in to actually get a hold of it. And then once it starts, the detent, although snappy and amazing, it gets stuck and hung up, and you got to literally force it past the detent, which is fine in most cases, but you never know when you're starting. You're slipping off this thing. For all of the work that they did, to not have jimping on the blade and to not have anything to grab this locking mechanism, it literally drives me nuts. And I struggle with it. So ultimately, as much as I hate to do it, and we hate to do it here on the channel, we will be burying, that's right, burying the Artisan Cutlery Bombardier. Oh, Chaos doesn't like that we're burying it. I don't know if you folks heard that. We want you to know that even though we don't recommend this knife, that doesn't mean that you may not like it. We think that if it wasn't for the closing mechanism, that this would have went the other way, actually. Does that mean that Artisan Cutlery is bad and all their knives and tools are bad? Goodness, no. They make some wonderful knives and tools. We will surely have carries for this channel that are CJRB or Artisan Cutlery. Honestly, there are a lot of knives that will get buried on the channel. It just is what it is. From all sorts of your favorite brands. It just simply means that we can't recommend it. Another thing to remember is that this is our opinion, okay? That's all that this is. We are wanting to make a great company for you folks, and we want to give you honest opinions when we carry these knives. So even if we don't think it's for you, that doesn't mean you can't buy it. That doesn't mean you should be ashamed if you have bought it. It just means we're not recommending it, okay? That's all. Now, there may come a time where we absolutely hate something, and you'll know by our voice, by my voice. So that's all it is. This is a great company. We know that. So Artisan Cutlery, don't be upset. You're a wonderful company, and your other brandings are great. We're going to keep buying them. We will do another video very soon. And it's now time for our 21 flipper salute. So if you haven't known, we do a 21 flipper salute when we actually bury this guy. So stay tuned for the ritual, right? Because I'm sure you're going to have it on the screen next. In the meantime, you can find us on most social media apps by searching for @CarryOrBury. Okay. Until next time, EDC family, keep those blades sharp, keep those flashlights charged, and keep those band-aids close. Remember, you are the best tool in your daily EDC loadout. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Time to bury this bad boy. Goodbye. going to be bombs away on the Bombardier.
Flip salute.
We are going to talk a little bit about our 100 subscriber giveaway entry. And the reason we're going to do this is because my wonderful friend and partner, the professor, has said that I haven't been exactly 100% easy to follow on this, which, let's be honest, that pretty much sounds like my MO. Well, with that being said, let's try to clarify this. Now, one thing I do want to let you know is we do film our videos in advance, which is why we still haven't gotten to the winner yet. However, we will have a winner very shortly here. In fact, after this video airs, the very next video that you see, which I believe is going to be our TRM or Three Rivers Manufacture Atom, that's when we'll be announcing our winner. So if you're seeing this video, this is your last chance to get entered into the subscriber giveaway entry. So how does it work, you ask? Well, I'm here to help you out with that. Every time that you subscribe, you get one entry. Anytime that you like a video, you get an entry. So if you like 10 videos, that's 10 entries. I'm serious. Anytime you make a positive and constructive comment or helpful comment in the comment section, you'll get 2 entries. To make this easy, I'll be policing it, and it is what it is. Like that, don't you? Another way you can get 2 entries is by sharing a video. Now, we're on all social media, from Facebook to Instagram. Just look up for us at Carry or Barry. That's at CarryOrbury. Now, our upcoming video will have the compiling entries, and we will be announcing the winners. So, folks, the winners will have 30 days to contact us in the comment section to confirm that they won. Now, what we'll do is we will private message you, and we'll get your address. We will ship you the item. You will need to be 18. That's where some restrictions apply come in. You'll have to be 18 or older. You will need an adult to sign for this. If you are under 18, it is your responsibility to talk to your parents, okay? Or your guardian or whomever is your caretaker. You will need an adult to sign for the package, or the package will be sent back to us, and we will start this process all over again. We wish all of you the best of luck. Well, unless you win the flashlight, of course. If you're under 18, you're more than welcome to win a flashlight. We are totally okay with that. We're also going to have some of our microfiber towels available, and we will probably pick out a few of you to send you those as well. Good luck, everybody.